everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we'll learn about the concept variables and data types in Python. In variables, we'll know about what is a variable, how do we initialize a variable, and what are the rules we need to follow when we name our variable. So variables. Variables are nothing but the storage containers which hold the values that are assigned to them. Like for example, if we take a kitchen, we have different containers with different storages. Like for spices, we use small little boxes, and for rices, pulses, and atta, or all those stuff, we use large boxes. So depending upon the quantity of the item, we are assigning a box to them. Likewise, depending upon the data type of the variable, there is some space allocated to them in the memory. So based on the data type of the variable, the interpreter assigns the value to them. In this, we have two steps called variable initialization and variable declaration. Variable declaration deals with assigning a name to a memory location, and the variable initialization is assigning a value to the particular variable location. Let's see how do we assign a value to a variable. I've taken a variable name called A, and I have assigned the value called 10 to it using an equal to operator. Using a print statement, I can print the value of A. So if I run it, I'll get the value called 10. So this is how we actually initialize a variable and assign value to them. A variable name can only have alphabets, numbers, and an underscore. It should not contain any special characters or a space or a full stop in between. And the variable name can only start with an alphabet or an underscore. It should not start with a number. Otherwise, it throws as a syntax error. And keywords cannot be used as a variable names. The data types in Python are classified into two: primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are the basic data types which every language offers, like int, float, complex, and string. And non-primitive data types are the new concept here we have in Python. These are the derived data types based upon the primitive data type. These primitive data types are also mutable, like their values can be changed at any point in our program. And we'll look at each of them now. Integer data type belongs to the int class. It can hold positive to negative whole numbers without any decimal or a float, without any decimal or a fraction value. Float is used to hold the decimal or a fraction value. Like there is no limit to how long it can, there is no limit to the length of the value. And complex is used to represent the complex class. It is specified as real number plus j into imaginary part. String is used to hold a group or a bunch of characters together which are enclosed within a single or double quotes. If we want to know the type of a variable which we are using, we can also know by using a type function. If I've assigned a complex value called 10 plus 4j to a variable a, and using a type function, I can get the value and I can get the data type of this variable. Since I've assigned a complex value, I'll get the output as complex. If I've assigned a string value here, so I've got the output as string. So using a type function, we can easily get the type of the variable we are operating on. Now let's look into the non-primitive data types. In primitive data types, we use them just to hold a single value or a single value. We have only assigned a single value to them, and they can hold only a single value. But unlike non-primitive data types, they can hold a collection of values in different formats. Like they can hold a collection of integer plus string plus string plus anything. They can hold a different bunch of items. So they are basically categorized into four, which are list, tuples, sets, and dictionary. Lists are nothing but an ordered sequence of items, and it is one of the most used data type in Python. And all the items in the list do not need to be of the same data type. We can have the different data types in a single list. Declaring a list is pretty simple. It can declared using a square brackets and separated by commas. These are the basic functions which operates on the lists, which includes append, index, insert, count, and remove and pop. So let's see list. We can assign a list using enclosed in a square brackets and separated by commas. This is how we assign a list. This is how we initialize a list. And now let's see if we want to access the elements in a list, we can use a slicing operator. Just the list. I forgot to mention the index of the list starts with an 0. If we want to access the third element, we have to mention a of 2. If we want to access first 3 elements, we have to mention 0 to 3. If we want to access some, like from 5th to the last element, just we have mentioned 5 is to some. This indicates that to the end of the list. And Now let's see the functions on the list. List functions are append. Append is used to add an item to the list at the end. It has only a single argument, and that argument can be of any data type like number, string, dictionary, or another list, etc. Index operator is used to return the index value of the particular argument which we have mentioned. And the important thing is index method only returns the first occurrence of the element which matches to our argument, and that is the one of the thing which we have to remember. And insert method, it inserts an element to the list at the specific index location. So it takes two parameters. The first parameter is the index value where we want to insert our particular element, and the next is the value of the element which we want to insert. And the count method returns the number of times a value occurs in a list, and it only takes a single argument and returns the number of occurrences of it. Remove method is used to remove a particular element from the list. We have to mention the value of the element which we want to remove as an argument in the remove method. And pop method is used to remove the items at a given index at a specific index location. Remove method takes the value of the element, but pop method takes the index location. So pop method in default has an index of -1. So if we doesn't declare any argument inside the pop function, it takes a default index of -1 and it removes the last element in the list. I've taken an empty list here and I've appended a value called 1. So I've get a list called and list with a value 1 in it. And if I want to insert a value 1 at an index location of 2 and the value 2 at an index location of 3, I simply use an insert function. I simply use an insert function and gives the parameters like this, and I'll get a string like this. And if I want to know the index location of 1, I can use the index and I can specify the value 1 here, and I'll get the index. Since it is at the starting location, I got a 0 here. And to count the number of times we have 1 here, I simply use the count and mention 1 inside the brackets, and I'll get 2 times. Since 1 is repeated twice here, I've got an output 2. Remove method, remove 2. I want to remove this element, so I've just mentioned 2 here. It removes. I've got a new list like 1, 1, and 2 is not present here. Pop method just removes the element which is specified in this location. So at 0 we have a 1 here. So if I remove that 1, I'll get a list called 1 here. Since 2 is already removed and 1 is removed, I'll have only 1 now. Now let's see about tuples. Tuples are also an ordered sequence of items just like lists, but the only difference between tuples and lists are tuples are immutable. That means we cannot change the values once we have assigned. Tuples are faster and are more secure than lists. And since tuples are immutable, our functions like append, extend, remove, insert are not possible here. Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Like in lists and tuples, duplication is allowed, but in sets, duplicate items are removed. So only unique items are present here. And sets are defined using curly braces and separated by commas. If I've initialized A with a set 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, and if I want to print it again, I'll get it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the items are the same, but the locations have been, the order of these items are different. That is the disadvantage with the sets. Different method is used to return the difference between the two sets. And the result we have got is also a set, but it doesn't affect the original sets we have. Let's quickly explain with an example here. Yeah. So I have a set A and I have a set B. If I want to get the difference between A and B, I simply use print A dot difference B. It only gives us the values which values in the form of a set, but it does not change the original values. Difference update. So difference update function is provides the difference between the two sets, and the result would be none, but the values when A will be equal to A minus B and B will remain unchanged. The intersection is nothing but the set of common elements which are present in both set and set B, and we can also find the set intersection using AND operator. And intersection update is used to give the common elements between the two sets, and it also updates the set with the set A. And union method is used to add all the elements in both the sets, and duplicates are removed. It only contains all the elements which are present in both the sets A and B. And union can also be performed using OR operator. That's about sets. And dictionaries. Dictionaries is an unordered collection of key value pairs. The items here are in the form of key and a value. In dictionaries, we have the following methods or functions. In items method, in dictionary, it returns the list of the dictionary's key value pairs, and the items method is similar to the dictionary's view items method. It only displays the list of a given dictionary's key value tuple pair. And get method gives us the key. Get method gives us the value of a specific key in a dictionary. It takes maximum of 2 parameters, and it returns the specific key if the key is present in the dictionary. Keys method doesn't take any arguments. It only returns it only displays a list of all the keys that are present in the dictionary. And the values method also doesn't take any argument. It only returns all the list of the values that are present in the dictionary. Clear method is used to remove all the items from the dictionary. This entire thing is called as a key value pairs. So if I've used a function called dict.items, dict1 is the dictionary name. So dict1.items, I'll get all the key value pairs which I have in the dictionary. Let me run it and tell you. Yeah, so I have all these mentioned, I get all these mentioned items in the answer. So if I've used a get A, I would get the value that is corresponding to this key A. So the value is mentioned 1, so I have get the output as 1. If I use get D, since D is not exist in this in our dictionary, we'll get the output as none. If I've used a keys function, it returns all the keys that are mentioned in our dictionary. If I use values function, it returns all the values that are there in our dictionary. And if you use a clear function, it clears the dictionary, so we get the output as none. This is the basics, and using this we can this knowledge is quite enough for us at this point of time. Yeah, thank you for choosing to watch this video.